Okay, it's going to be advice to young trans women, really. Advice to young trans women, because that's my thing. I don't know, maybe trans men are a different situation, but okay. First piece of advice is think about your career. If you're going to be. If I know you're going, if people going through transition are going through got a whole bunch of stuff going through your brain about about how you're gonna look and how to and hormones and all this stuff, but you're still gonna have to, on top of all that, somehow you're gonna have to make money, and and life is better with money than it is without money. It's like it's best. It's likely you're gonna have to get a job, probably. Maybe there's a few could be influencers or something like this, but if you don't have 100,000 followers now, it's probably I don't know if it's going to happen or not. You got to make an honest assessment of that. Is all I can say. That's not my field. Maybe talk to other people who want to talk about your influencer career. I think it's best. It's for making money. It's good to have a skill that other people don't have. And it can be anything. I mean, for me, I'm a computer programmer. It's in game development, and there's if you're looking for games, I made another video on this, but there are a lot of positions in games that aren't programming too. So actually, there's fields maybe you don't know about, but I think you should try to assess what your skills are and what you can do that can make you money in a job, and because that'll be handy for your entire life. And if you're going through a transition, it costs money. This stuff is not super cheap, and it's like, and I think it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know, money is happiness to some extent. The more money I make, the happier I am. I found this out. I've never really been poor, but I've had situations where I make more money or less money, and more is always better. For me, I'll say a secondary point to this is, I mean, some people are going to go into sex work, and I'm not a person. I'm not opposed to people doing sex work. I'm like, I'm pro legalization of all that, and I think if that's what you want to do, I'm not. I don't want to judge that. And I don't know how that life is. I just know what I've seen online, and just that. Not everyone is cut out for sex work. Some people think they're going to be okay, and then they aren't really. So, just keep that in mind. Next bit of advice: don't get silicone injections. I don't know. I've never been around. I don't know. This has never been a situation for me, but I've seen people do this, and this causes problems. It's not healthy. I think the CDC warns about this, and they're not joking. It is actually bad. It's like, I think you want to have, if you're going to have things done to your body, you want to go to a place where they got medical degrees. They went to college and they became a doctor and they're a legal surgeon, and they operate on you. That's when it's okay. And I'm just saying, these silicone injections are not a good thing. You can do some Googling on that. You'll find some unpleasant pictures if you go down that hole. So don't do it. I'm just saying that. Another one. Yeah, time is precious. Time is precious, and your 20s go by really fast, and then your 30s go by so fast too. I've discovered, and it all goes by so fast. So, I think it's okay to have a little sense of urgency about things. That you want to be where you want to be when you're young as possible. I think it is better. And if you've missed time, it's sad, but you are where you are, and you're never going to be any younger. So you want to try to move as fast as possible. And there's just things, It's like, if you want to, if you're, it's like if you want to go out with men and things, it's like there's people, they want to see that too in your age. And there's your options at 30 and 40 or less. However good you look, whatever happens, you get past 30 or 40 or 50, and it's like, it changes. So, you know, you want, you want to maximize, your youth, I think, and so that means, see that time is precious and use it, don't waste it. Um, Next tip, substance abuse, alcohol and drugs, I think for people with, gender related issues, this is a massive trap, and if you're kind of, if you're, you have gender issues, you're going to have some hard days, and you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some days that aren't going to be so good, and you go down that route, and, I've just seen it go bad. This was not me at all. I've avoided this, but I've seen people that just have wasted decades, you know, in alcohol, and have just like lost, then you wake up and you're 40, and then it's horrible, then it's over. And I'm just saying, don't do it. Don't don't do drugs, man. You know what I mean? Um, and my next tip, health is beauty. It really, and I think, genetics is beauty when you're like when you're really young. I think everybody in their teens is, is pretty healthy, or a lot of people are, when they're younger, are pretty healthy. But as you get older, how you look depends on your health. And you can throw a lot of your body when you're younger, in your 20s, but if you're being unhealthy in your 20s, it's going to start, it's going to show up in your face when you're in your 30s and 40s. It's better, pay attention. And life is better if you're healthier too. Everything's better if your body is functioning. And it's all, and my thing is sleep too. I think it matters to get a lot of sleep, getting good sleep. So don't overlook getting enough sleep in, because I think sleep, your body is putting itself back together. Next tip, sunscreen. Sunscreen is your friend. Wear sunscreen if you're out in the sun. That it really is. You could damage your skin in the sun. And I think there's a lot of women, like, they're super athletic and they're outside all the time, but then their face gets cooked in the sunlight. And if you're gonna be out in the sun a lot, wear your sunscreen. Carry a bottle of sunscreen with you all the time, and protect your skin, because you're gonna appreciate that in a few years, if that your skin looks better. The sun is not your friend. Um, Okay, and next point, and that is, transition just doesn't happen. You have to do stuff. That means, what that means is, no praying. Don't do any praying or wishing. That's the biggest waste of time. No praying, no hoping, no wishing. You just got to do it. And if you can't do it due to obstacles, you got to plan. You got to plan, make your plan, and move your life towards your plan. But the thing that stops that from happening is the hoping that things happen. And this is one of those things where, no, you can't hope. You have to make this happen. So hope. Don't spend your time hoping. And my next tip. You're gonna be embarrassed. You could be embarrassed. It is the world's most embarrassing thing. I think, either you have to overcome being embarrassed, or you have to learn to experience being embarrassed and getting through that. And your way of getting through that cannot be alcohol. You have to, if you're going to go to work one day and say, I'm a woman now, and it's going to be like the most embarrassing thing you've ever done, and you're going to get clocked, and, you know, it's like you're going to be weird at some point, and there's no way out of it. It's just like it's just part of it. Don't put off things until you're perfect. You fit the image that's in your brain. You have to like own up to like the awkwardness of this, and just accept that it's like it gets better with practice. I think I don't know, maybe it doesn't get better, but at least don't let being embarrassed from stopping you. That, or at least you're going to need a plan to address the embarrassment. Number 10, my next one is I had numbers on this, but I'm not going by numbers. Yeah, life is better if you're more attractive. It really is. And it's like, there's always going to be someone who's more attractive, and there's going to be someone who's less attractive, and you're going to be somewhere on that scale. And, and if you feel like you need something, you want to do something to your body or you want to do something to be more attractive, go ahead and do it. I'm just saying I think that's totally justified. That this world is cruel, and it wants attractive people, and it doesn't want unattractive people. And there's a lot of, it's just, it shouldn't matter, or people think it doesn't matter. It's, your soul is what matters and all that nonsense. But it's better to be attractive. And if you're worried about that, and you have an option to do something about it, don't feel guilty about going ahead and doing it. I think it's fine. And the next part of this is that there are going to be things you don't like about your body or your face or your voice. And at some point, you're just going to have to make peace with it, So it's okay. At some point, you just like, maybe you've done enough. We're fine now. But at some point, you're going to make peace with that at some point. That's, short of supermodel and some above, totally horrible. And it's okay to be angry or unhappy about it, and cry it out if it comes to that. But don't dwell on it. Try not to dwell on it. At some point you have to move on. Don't get addicted to plastic surgery. There are people who've done this. I've only seen people online who did this. It seems to go bad for some. I think you can only like do so much. I think medical science is amazing, but it can only do so much. At some point you just got to stop. And then move on to something else, other, you want to work on your appearance if you can, and then stop and have something in your life you want to do, whether it's work or, I don't know, your hobby or relationships or whatever, And last thing I have here is, if you're dependent on your parents for money or for housing or any of this, just be super careful. Be super careful. Don't assume it's gonna go okay. I've just see stories where it doesn't go okay, and there's kids out on the street who are homeless out of this. So you have to like, if you're trans, you have to like. I don't know. I didn't tell my parents when I was a kid. I don't know. I think if you're in this situation, you're gonna have to judge for yourself what is the correct way to approach this. That you're the only one who can appreciate what they might say. But I would only say is, appreciate the danger of this, that there are peoples whose parents go nuts, and they end up, and people do end up homeless for this, and it's not good. You don't want that, You want to be, if you're a kid, you got to be planning your money. You got to be thinking about, like, how am I going to be making money and getting away from my parents so I don't depend on them for money? Because I think that's the best place to be, where you have money that you've made yourself by some kind of employment or other means. And yeah, and I would, and that's basically all I have. I would say, just I'm just old, so I think my time is maybe a little bit different than people younger now. So maybe it's not quite all applicable, but I think it's just, I've also been on Ask Reddit, or not, Transgender, and I just see some of the questions that come up, and I just sort of feel like I'm responding to some of the questions that people have there. So that's basically all I got. And thank you. And if you like, you may subscribe. And you may like, if you liked it, you may like. But you don't have to if you don't want to subscribe. If you subscribe, you might see some stuff. Either way, it's fine. Thank you very much for watching, anyone who stick out this long.